Welcome to Soul Nectar, a podcast for women who lead by frequency, embodiment, and soul essence. It's a portal into a new paradigm of feminine leadership, a return to your natural state of being as a woman, rooted in feminine essence, embodied wisdom, and inner wholeness. Here, your soul is nourished by transmissions that drip with sweetness, the honey of your own inner knowing. Each episode is nectar, soft, sensual, soul-led.
Your feminine wisdom that reminds us of our infinity, our divinity.
Welcome back to the Soul Nectar Podcast. I am so grateful you're back here with me today. And I watched a movie yesterday. I think it was called Unfaithful. And there was a quote in that movie that said, "Enjoy this moment because this moment is your life." And these quotes or these things you hear that keep rippling in your mind and that, just are looping in your consciousness because they activate something. And I have been contemplating a lot these last few days and these last few weeks about my journey, about my life, how fast things have shifted for me, how many initiations I've experienced in these last few years. And if you've been following my journey, it's been pretty rough and pretty wild, and there was a lot of integration needed and a lot of settling and grounding and embodying what I have experienced in my mystical experiences, through my initiations, through remembering so many facets of my being, of reclaiming so many parts of my soul and my past lives and my gifts. And it's been pretty wild. So these last 6 months that I've spent here in Mexico, 5 months, I really just had the most simple life on the outside because there was so much moving inside of me. And these last few days I found myself in a really funky headspace, and I think we as humans, we spiral back to these moments. No matter how advanced we think we are still human, and we have a human brain, and we have a human body with a human nervous system with specific imprints. And the reason why this quote has activated me so much was because I have created a life with so much freedom that I didn't even know would be possible. So much time freedom, so much soul alignment, so much that I have in my life that I wouldn't even have dared to dream would be possible. And yet I have found myself again in this space where I was caught up in this loop of feeling stagnant and wanting things to unfold a certain way, wanting certainty, wanting to know what's going to happen, and also not feeling grateful or excited for life for a few days. And even though I know this is very human, I kind of make it worse sometimes by blaming myself that I should be grateful because I have all these things and I have this life that I've created for myself and that other people would kill for. And I'm the first in my lineage who gets to live life this way with so much freedom and so much infinite potentiality of what I'm here to create and who I get to be in this lifetime. And at the same time, I've noticed when I've left Germany for good around 5 years ago. I was a school teacher before in a lifelong position working for the government, and I've always traveled a lot since I'm 1 year old. I was traveling with my grandparents in their caravan. Every weekend they would pick me up, or every holiday. Sometimes they would take me out of kindergarten to travel. And it was my favorite thing in the world. I would just see different places and observe people and build things in nature. The second we stopped somewhere, I would go out and build little things with nature materials, or I would craft. You could leave me alone for many hours and I would just be so lost in the moment of creation with things I would find or things I was gifted. And so traveling has been a huge passion of mine always. I kind of grew up on the road, and part of why I became a school teacher was because it gave me the time freedom to travel. And when I decided to leave that job, which has given me a lot of safety when it comes to money flow, when it comes to stability and predictability, it was something my grandparents were really proud of. And I thought I had chosen this job from my heart and my soul, and I was so excited I have found this so in such an early age, because I was always a person who really needed a sense of purpose and a sense of I'm doing this because I love it and not just because of the money. And I tried a few things on the side to try to make it out of this. I built a yoga studio with an ex-partner. I've written a book. I guided retreats. And just when things were slowly building up, COVID hit and my body shut down. So even though I knew back then that this wasn't my path and that I'm here for so much more, I've always felt that, but it felt so uncertain that I didn't have the courage to leave. So I kind of waited until my body made the decision for me. It was 1 year before my sabbatical would have started. That was my human plan, to have the safety net, to have a year paid off where I can figure out how I can make this jump work. But life and my soul were like, no, we're not waiting another year. We're quitting now. And this was the last day I ever saw that school building, and I never returned being a school teacher, because I knew, I got really honest with myself, and I knew I'm here for so much more, and it's not my soul path. And when I devoted myself to not only trust and listen, but also to follow my soul, my whole life changed, because I knew, when I was really honest, I knew I had outgrown Germany. I had outgrown so many friends. I needed space away from my family to see certain dynamics more clearly. And I remember when I was a school teacher still, before I quit, I was obsessed with yoga for 10 years. I went to yoga every single day. I had an amazing teacher that I was mesmerized by and so inspired by. So every day I would go to his classes and soak up the wisdom that he shared. It wasn't even about the classes, it was more him as a person and his frequency and what he shared through his words that just changed my whole perspective on life and what this whole human experience is all about. And when it was winter, I remember that one yoga class, I think it was February, and he came back from Bali Spirit Festival. So he had been away for 2 weeks, and I remember thinking, wow, one day maybe there's a chance that I could have 2 weeks off outside of school holidays, because I was traveling a lot, and I'm not complaining. There were a lot of school holidays, but I am not a winter person. I was struggling so much being in the cold. And the only winter holidays where I could go to places like Bali was around Christmas and New Year's, and all the flights were triple the prices, and it usually never worked out. So I had all these long months of winter without being able to be in a warm country. So I remember being in this class dreaming about a 2-week slot one day, maybe if I'm pregnant or I'm a mother, and there's some way I could make this work. This was the life I've envisioned, because I thought I'm going to be a school teacher for the rest of my life. That's kind of why you become a school teacher. You work for the government, you get a safe salary in the position I was in, where you get paid until the day you die. And you had all these advantages like private health insurance. I would even get facials and massages paid by that insurance. It was amazing. And yesterday when I heard that quote, I was like, oh my God, I sometimes forget how far I've come, that I don't appreciate enough what I already have, because the human mind is so good on focusing what's lacking in life. So for me, these last few weeks have been really about noticing how much I miss having a shared life with someone. I have been single for almost 4 years now, celibate for 4 years. I haven't been dating in this time. And I really miss sharing these everyday moments with someone, and also with long-term friends, because in this lifestyle that I'm living, I meet these soul people that I really feel deeply connected with, and I'm so grateful I have these connections around the planet. We're like a web of light that spins around the planet, and we're all weaving in our unique ways, and I believe there's a reason why we are so spread out. And sometimes we get to spend some time in the same place, but oftentimes we're not together in a physical place. And I've been really grieving this, how can I explain that? The proximity of people in my life that I get to share these little moments with. I'm not even craving the big moments. I'm craving, having inside jokes and sharing coffee together and going for walks and knowing about each other's intimate life and watching a sunset together and going to a Pilates class together, and just everyday moments, because I spend so much time alone that there was a grieving process that needed to happen that came in layers also. I've had a big grieving process around New Year's Eve, where I felt that unlived potential of love, the capacity of love that I have in my heart, and that I don't have a proper outlet for. But then I also noticed I'm kind of in this waiting position, focusing on the things I don't have, rather than seeing the life I've already built. And it hit me after this quote. I was like, oh my God, this moment is my life, and I have to stop waiting for my man. I have to stop waiting for, these people that will be in my proximity for experiencing joy and experiencing love, and to open my heart more to see what's right here, right now. And with this new perspective, after I listened to that quote, I went to the beach for a walk, and I was just in a different space. It kind of catapulted me back into this moment and the appreciation of everything I already have in my life, for this healthy body, for the opportunity to live this life in freedom, to follow my soul. And even though I have carved this path for myself, it's still so, so special. I'm the first woman in my whole family who gets to follow her dreams, who gets to speak her truth, who gets to choose herself, who does the things different than I was shown and modeled by my family. And even though that comes also with its price of not having that safety net and that stability and that support that I deeply long for, it also comes with so much beauty and so much freedom. And I went on this walk on the beach. I always go for long beach walks in this white sand Mexican beach. It's so beautiful. And I just saw the beauty again after a few days of being in the murky waters. I just counted my blessings, not from a mental space, but from truly seeing it like I saw it for the first time, of all the things I already created and do have in my life. And instead of holding back these moments where I get to share these moments with someone else, I almost got tired of doing these things by myself all the time. Like I saw the sunset, but then I get to see the sunset every day, so I kind of wished I could share it with someone instead of seeing the beauty in this moment right now. And a few moments happened during that beach walk that I probably wouldn't have seen in the headspace I was in the day before. And I'm sharing this with you because I think the human mind, it's the job of the ego is to keep us in striving for more and simultaneously keeping us in the same mental loops and the same patterns and the same predictability. So when I was walking, I saw this couple in front of me, an older couple that was looking at the ocean, and I almost didn't see that they were looking, but then I was like, what are they looking at? And I stopped too, and then we saw this baby stingray in the water, and this only happened 3 times so far during all my times in Mexico that I saw a stingray, and it always feels like a little magic hint of Morea, because that's where I used to swim with the rays and sharks every morning. And they're some of my favorite animals on this planet, and they're very rare in Mexico. And it was just this magical moment of us seeing this baby stingray in the water, and we were all so mesmerized by it and in awe, and we just stared at it and we're so happy, and I felt this shared moment together that I was praying for. And I noticed it's not even about, of course it's beautiful to have it with the same people. Like some of my friends from school, from primary school, they still have the same friends from back then, even now. And it's so beautiful if you can share your whole life together, and even partners, they've been together since they are 16. And it's so beautiful, you know, if you've grown a life together side by side and you know all the stories and everything, who you've become along the journey. But for me, I rarely have that. And I noticed it's still so beautiful to share these moments, even with strangers. It was such a special moment to share this moment of awe and appreciation and beauty, and just how much love there was in this moment, even with a stranger, where I thought the day before it has to be these people that I have these long-term relationships with, that for it to feel that way. And it just felt like this glimpse of magic of humans are everywhere, and if we are present, life offers us so much. Like the quote said, enjoy this moment, because this moment is your life. If we're constantly waiting for something to change, we miss our whole life, instead of accepting the moment exactly as it is and trusting that our deepest desires are seeded within our hearts because they're meant to blossom. We are meant to call these desires and these visions into our lives, but sometimes we need to calibrate to the women who can actually hold these visions in our physical reality, in our human vessel, in our nervous system, without sabotaging it, without running away when it comes closer, without, just not being able to hold it. So I continued my walk, and it was such a beautiful moment. I felt so much love in my heart. And then I saw a fisherman, and he was fishing in the water, and he had a huge fish on his line, and he was so proud, and I was kind of celebrating with him that he got this huge catch. And it was a moment even beyond words, where we just looked at each other and looked at the fish, and it was this celebration through body language. And even that moment, we underestimate how many ripples a moment of this can create in the field when we're truly present, when we're truly noticing what's around us. And I have that often with babies. When I'm in a cafe or anywhere outside and I see a baby and we lock eyes, it's like, wow, so much presence and so much love and so much beauty. Or if a baby smiles at you, sometimes we're so busy in our thoughts and our minds that we can't see the beauty of this moment, the threads of love, the exchange of love, if our hearts are open to receive the moment of this interaction. And babies are so pure, they're fresh out of the womb, they still hold the most pristine level of love and purity and presence that we as humans get to experience. And if we get the honor to lock eyes and to share this moment with a baby, I really always feel so connected and honored, and I feel so much love in my heart. And I felt called to share this with you today, to invite you to catch your own mind, to catch your own ego, and to see these very human loops of where things are not good enough, where we're still waiting for things to show up in our external world before we feel grateful, or before we feel alive, or before we experience joy, pleasure, whatever it is that you think you're lacking in your life. And then to open your horizon, your perception, almost like you changed glasses. You've looked through these pink glasses before and you couldn't see the things that were lacking, and then to change them and to notice, wow, if I'm really open and present, it's not the only source that I thought it would give me that can give me this feeling. I can create this feeling within myself through different sources. It doesn't have to be this one person or this one location or this one whatever it is you're calling in. I can experience so much more of that when I'm actually being present and notice what's already around me. So I will leave it with this, and I'm just inviting you to notice in your everyday life and the rest of this day, whenever you catch yourself in a little funky headspace, in a moody situation where you spiral into lack and scarcity and doubt and worry, which is part of the human experience, but we get to change our states by consciously choosing a different pattern and a different perception through we view this life in. So sending you much love, and I see you next week.